Kenrick. Douglas, on behalf of the entire university community, the Board of Regents, and all of us that are here, just amazed at how one can integrate all the things that you integrate from your research to your teaching at the level that you do. It's my honor to name you President's Professor.
Well, I was a graduate student here at Arizona State, it turns out, and I always dreamed of becoming a college professor when I was a nerdy kid, reading books, and that's more or less all I was good at. And so I was really honored when they told me, well, you're going to be the first graduate student we ever let to teach undergraduate psychology. This was a long time ago. And first I thought, this is great, but then they told me the bad news, which is the class is going to be held in Murdoch Hall. Now, Murdoch Hall, if you've never been into it, it's about the size of one of the larger Carlsbad caverns, and it holds about 500 kids. Okay, so for the month before the class, I woke up every night sweating, having these dreams about people walking out of the class and booing and saying, "Where's the real professor?" Turns out it worked out fine. I walked in there and they paid good attention and they laughed at my jokes, and no one even asked the obvious question, which is, why is this guy who's barely out of his teens being allowed to teach a course about the whole breadth of knowledge in the field of psychology? So now we fast forward 45 years, and I still don't know nearly enough about psychology to qualify to teach, but they let me earn as I learn, and so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for a number of things about ASU. One is that when I was in graduate school, my advisor was Bob Cialdini, who at that time was just a young guy, just starting out, but he went on to become one of the world's most influential psychologists, and he kind of carried along the psychology department with him, at least some parts of it. The social area, John Rich is sitting there and knows about that. And the other thing that's been really lucky for me is that I personally am interested in studying. I was an undergraduate, started as a biology major, then thought I might go into anthropology, but I never really knew what I'd do when I grow up. And what's really great is that studying human behavior in an evolutionary perspective lets you think about all the things that we think about every day, but what can we bring in from all these different disciplines? And ASU has become one of the best places on the planet to study behavior in an evolutionary perspective. So I get to sit in the same room as people like John Alcock, who wrote the world's best-selling book on animal behavior, Bert Holdover, who won a Nobel Prize for his work on ant societies, Kim Hill and Magdalena Hurtado, who are these really well-known anthropologists who studied cooperation in hunter-gatherers, Randy Nesse, who literally wrote the book on evolution in medicine, and Joan Silk, world-famous primatologist, Rob Boyd, who's probably the premier cultural anthropologist in the world. And they mentioned this course that I'm teaching. It turns out that in this little honors class, which I'm feeling privileged to have the opportunity to teach, I'm getting all of these colleagues to come in. So world-famous people from, who all happen to be located at ASU are all coming in to give guest lectures to my students. So, here I am, I've been having all kinds of fun, getting away with something. I've been studying just what I want, writing books on just the topics I want, teaching just the courses I want. And so I get this call, a month or so ago from the pro's office, and I got a little nervous because I thought, I'm going to walk in there and, he's going to say to me, "All right, Kenrick, we finally figured out what you're getting away with here." And that's it. But instead of firing me, he tells me, "No, I've been promoted to a president's professor." And my reaction was somewhere between like, "Wow, thanks," and I pulled something off here. Anyway, I'm very honored to be part of this faculty at Arizona State, and I thank you all.